Welcome to another edition of No Fly Zone. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Hope everybody stayed hydrated out in Texas. Uh, got my one of my guys with me, Mr. Bashard, the big man, Bursey.
Hey,
Uh, wanted to wish him the best of luck in a couple of weeks. He's going to go back to school for culinary, so um, I want to wish him all the success and everything today. But tonight's discussion is a very close one to me that I feel like I need to share, and hopefully people wants to join in and comment or join in the chat on the video chat. It's about how death of a loved one, I should put friends as well, affected you over the years. So I lost a couple years ago. I lost two important people that were close to me that kind of made me be the person who I am today with everybody else involved. Um, Starting with my uncle, who had a fatal heart attack. His death was kind of just like a sledgehammer hitting you in your stomach type, out of nowhere type thing. Um, and my grandfather, who had a lot of health problems and stuff. I don't want to get into that, but he was dealing with things that he didn't want to tell everybody. So, but it was kind of you can tell when you lose a loved one or a friend that when they pass and kind of hits you, it kind of takes a toll over you on you physically, mentally. So over the last couple of years, it kind of affected me in a way where I be thinking like I'm used to hearing them all the time, or looking over my shoulder, or having them call my name to do stuff for them, help them out. It kind of took a toll on me the first couple of years, especially with my uncle. It was definitely rough. I can say for the most part, it was definitely rough. I didn't really think he wasn't gone. I just thought like he was going to, be like, "Hi, I was just playing," things of that nature. So that's why I thought like with his passing. But I can say over the years, there's some days there where I wish I can talk to him and talk about wrestling, talk about different sports and everything else. So I kind of wish you know that he'll be here. So um, in a way, I still miss them both. I know like they spirit is still around me to guide me and protect me and my family each and every day. So I don't know if people are out there that are afraid to talk about this, but don't be afraid to get some help or talk to a friend or a family member to just talk about how the person's passing affected you in a way. So um Bashar, like I
sure.
know since we've been working together,
Yeah.
you told me the one of the biggest, I think this is coming with everybody once they watch this video,
All
that
right.
your mom's passing was the biggest thing that kind of took a toll on you. So talk about like the emotions, the journey that got you here to this point. Like what did how did you handle it? Since, and what were you doing at first to try to get through the rough couple of weeks or months?
Well, I would say that I'm holding on for as long as I can. However, um, I actually thought about the fact how my mom died.
Hmm.
I mean, even before, even after the pandemic started, I had to take care of my best I could. But unfortunately, I don't know. Uh, I, I really want to keep her alive, just to help her make a full recovery, But,
Hmm.
but unfortunately, that really wasn't the case.
Yeah. So
So,
like what did like after you found out, that she had uh was no longer here physically, like what were going through your mind? Like what type of emotions and everything was going through your mind at that time? Like how did you, even with with the phone calls and the text messages from, family and friends and things of that nature. But like when you had that time to yourself to really like let it sink in, like how did you handle it? How do you think that you handled it?
well, I would say I handled it well, but even at my mother's funeral, I wept actually.
Mm-hmm.
Here's real story. Okay, that July in 2020, uh, 4 months after the pandemic started, I was actually at home at the time.
Mm.
I was actually here in my house at the time, but I went downstairs to check on her just to see if she was alive. But I tried to wake her up, but she was waking up. I even tried to perform CPR on her before and after the paramedics arrived. And the next thing you know, one of the paramedics told me that she was dead. I had to call my sister. I had to call my portion of my family that my mother died. And next thing you know, she was gone.
So you were pretty much in disbelief, pretty much, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So like tell me about, the journey after, like the funeral and, the wake and funeral and stuff. That's always called like, was it like like Dr. Dre, the rep label he has, Aftermath. So, you got an after, before and after. So, like after she passed, like where did you like where did you vision? Where was your head at? During the pandemic, and because then you started. When did you started at Texas Tech in 2020, right? Or
In November 2020,
okay, so it was like you said she passed in
July,
July, so it was like probably a few months after. Okay, so
4 months after
four
4 months
months.
after my mother died.
Okay, so tell me about like your mental state. Like, how did you, how were you able to move forward? You know, in the coming months into the new year and to at this point, like how were you able to really get to that point? Like how did you able to just really get yourself in a way to really not, you can't really forget your mother's passing or the
Right,
way that how she passed on. So key word, like you have to use that, pass on.
right.
um how did you manage to really get through the storms of it? Like how did you able to do all that?
Well, in spite of my mother's passing, I managed to, I managed to, just strong. More likely, my mother didn't want to be stuck in a moment that I'm not gonna be able to get out
Mm,
for a long time. But normally I would I would just stay home alone, and and grieve over the loss, over the passing of my mother. About that, just to get a new employment, just to get my mind off things,
okay, okay.
But let's say I started painting.
So so is that what do you consider painting to be like a stress reliever to take your mind off of it, off your mom's passing, or like what would you say?
I would say it's something I wanted to do, should have done. I mean, what I like to do, but at the same time, is to keep my mom's passing off my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that said, that said, I'm trying to remain strong.
Yeah, I mean that's all the most important thing is, Bashar, to to remain being strong through losing a loved one. So it's like I mean I think you, a couple other people that I know have lost, not only their mom, but losing like an uncle or dad or cousin or a close friend, you know,
Yeah,
um, like I think like people's deaths or passings kind of have an effect on your way that you're so used to them being there all the time, and so
yeah,
when when you get to that point of when that time comes, whenever the time comes, happen when forever whenever they pass, it puts you in a way in a situation like, dang, I never really. There's a lot of things that play into your head, and you'd be like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. That's you always hear that from people so many times. You don't know how to move on
yeah,
from somebody's passing. It's hard. Um, and then that's what kind of happened with me. Like I didn't want to be bothered. Like my uncle Brian, he always went. We would always go bowling. So when he passed, I didn't want to go bowling at all. I chose to stay low and just don't go nowhere. Sometimes people try to push you to do stuff and be like, no, you need to get out and do this. You should do this in honor of the person that you want to be remembered. So when you go through phases of life, you kind of in a way picture them being right there next to you.
yeah.
Uh, so sometimes, hold on,
Uh, take it time, please.
I got it.
Uh,
So I think like when people pass, it puts you in a way of not really being familiar with things, but sometimes when the person that has taught you life lessons, they already gave you the actions and the book to follow.
yeah.
Hello. Hey.
I got my phone on my charger. Excuse me. Oh,
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about the interruptions. But I think when for the viewers that's watching, we're talking about. I should have just said how death of loved one and friends affected you through the years. But
sorry, man. I put my phone back on the charger. On the charger.
are you good? So when we go through things, when we go through a person's passing, it's best to remember them in the way that we want to remember them. Um, Sometimes when I know it's probably gonna open up a can of worms, but
Yeah,
when
pretty much.
the person passed, you get like a lot of people that you ain't really spoke to in a while to reach out and say, I'm sorry for your condolences and things of that nature. And if you need anything, you can call me. But it's like sometimes that it sounds good, but the action speaks louder. Um, I think in
Yeah,
a
just
way
what?
the actions speak louder than the words. So it's like when people say they're gonna do something for you, you be like, yeah, yeah, I believe when I see it. I'm the type of person to really just be like, I really believe it when I see it because you can say stuff and really say it all the day long, but it's like you're not really getting nowhere with it. Instead of like
Yeah,
you have like random phone calls or constant communication with somebody like, hey, Bashar, I'm just checking on you. I'm gonna do like a daily checkup with you.
right.
Um,
Just
I think,
just like I should just like I should always do check up with you. You know. I mean. I mean, if I'm not that busy, I'll call and check on you, just to check on you every now and then, just to make sure that you're okay.
hmm and I think that some people just don't do that no more. I think like it's a big thing where people just they feel like, oh well, I shouldn't have to reach out to you. You should reach out to me. But it's like if you're going
But
through something like losing, a special person in your life, you know, you already know who to count on to really just be
right,
like who you
right,
know
right,
to
and Brandon, it's just everybody should always check on each other every now and then, and just make sure they're okay, or staying alive. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's
just
true
that's it.
because
There should go all hospital employees, especially that have those that text up. For instance, we coworkers should always call each other every now and then, just to just make sure that we're okay.
yeah, I think some people don't really want to do that. I think they just be like, well, this person should they should know when they want to reach out to me, type things.
Mm,
Uh, but at the same time, you just want a simple phone call or a text message to be like, hey, I thought of you, so I just wanted to just call and check on you.
right.
But some people don't do that. I mean, some people take death differently. Some people that the grieving family or the person that's grieving or whatever, they want to have peace to themselves. Um, they want to have that time to themselves to really just gather their thoughts.
Yeah.
Uh, so to whoever the viewer is that's watching, I would love to hear your comments or questions or anything in particular um, that we're discussing. So it's a good topic to talk about, which I think it's much needed because you know mental health is definitely important and it affects it all phases of life. When you lose people, lose loved ones of that nature, because I mean, we always been around that person for so many years, and when that person physically is not there, you have a thing to understand and appreciate the person for being there. So I think like I'm trying to think like the way I handle it. I don't think I handle it pretty well, but I'm making the strides to do it right. So we got Miss Brenda uh, that has a question.
All right.
Uh,
Let's see what they say.
so she said the question is, how do you commemorate your loved ones? She said she created an altar for them for the Day of the Dead. So let me see. I think for me, I just go bowling. I'll go bowling, have fun. Even not on the day that he passed, but just going out. Maybe sometimes on his birthday and just remember him. Just think about the good times. Look at some pictures that we took, whatever. Just remember him the best way I can. Um, Shard, how do you commemorate your loved ones, or how
Let's
would you?
see.
I guess.
To celebrate the life my mother had while on Earth, I usually listen to songs from the 1990s.
Mm,
I listen to R&B songs from the 1990s, hip hop songs, if you will. Like for instance, I was listening to "I'm Everyone" by Whitney Houston from 1992 movie The Bodyguard,
mm,
and and I did watch. I did remember the 1990. I did remember watching Crooklyn on TV.
mm,
Starring Alfred Woodard, which is from 1970s, which is the which is to commemorate my late mother's childhood.
Okay.
She
Okay.
grew up in the 1970s. You know,
Okay. Okay.
and
So like now, I remember one time, Bashar, we came from the bowling alley,
yeah,
and I think Prince had came on the radio. And you turned it up full blast. So was that a song that your mom always liked listening to, or that was a song you like listening to?
as the Prince song, as actually my mom used to listen to.
Okay, I can't remember what I think it was it 1999 or something like that. I think I can't
It
remember,
was
but
1999.
it was okay. It had to be one of those two because I saw like even though we were sitting next together driving, I was taking you home. Like it was kind of fun to see you, um, having fun. So and just kind of remembering your mom in the way that you want her
Yeah,
to. So Miss Brenda says family funerals are also a celebration of life. She said she went to her great uncle's funeral in March, and they had like a live band at the cemetery and at the gathering at the funeral. Now I have seen quite a few of those where they have like the bands and stuff playing at the cemetery and stuff. So that's pretty awesome to see that. I don't really see it too often, but I always see it. I always see it on either on social media or something, or if I'm passing by a cemetery that might be having a funeral procession going on, then most likely I'm gonna see a band. Um, um, that's performing. So, for sure, have you ever seen that before? Like some live bands performing like at the cemetery or anything? Like, have you ever?
actually, no, never
Okay,
before.
okay. It's pretty awesome because that's the best way that you want to remember them because they always say music always brings people together. Any kind of music, pop, hip hop, R&B, gospel, um, any kind of genre of music. So I think for the most part, that's always good to have because it shows that they legacy and their impact will never go away. In a way of that's why I think why they have indication marks from the time you was born to the time you pass. The little line right there to show you like from between those 2 years, like this how much of an impact you have had. So I think for the most part, it's always good to celebrate people's lives that have went on, moved on to graduate and be with the Lord. But it's just I just hate going to funerals and just we always got to come and meet like this. Like we got to have like a family reunion or something, you
Yeah,
know, to, instead of like the wakes and the funerals and things of that nature. So, but I think this was kind of dear to my heart because I know like when I watch wrestling and go to live Raw shows or pay per views and watching, I think of him. I think of him like watching if Stone Cold would come out, how excited he would get, or The Rock, especially like The Rock. Like he was so in love with The Rock. I think just making the same catchphrases and doing the eyebrows and stuff and try to do all that stuff. That was like the most memorable things I like to see from him. So I think of him in a good way of knowing like he's not forgotten. So like Bashar, for you, what do you think like some of your funniest moments or good moments with your mom you wanted to talk about or share? Like something that you thought like that was like y'all both had a great laugh. Like this what you remember.
um, I remember the time where I used to help my mom on my mouth, and even worked in an old job, and I would even sacrifice all my paychecks just to make sure that my mom kept her car.
Mm,
As to sacrifice everything, all her hard earned money just to make sure that we have food in our house, that our bills are paid, that the credit has been paid on time, and we had to help my mom feed my niece. You know,
Hmm.
everything I've done for my mom, everything I've done, I did for my mother. You know, and I mean, I real sorry for those who always treat their mothers while they're alive, whatnot. But God only knows that I took care of that. God knew that I took care of mine best I could.
Yeah, I
You
mean
know.
that's always important, Rashard. Trust me. I mean, it's always important to you know have people in your life to share moments with, share experiences. But with a mom, it's always going to be like that factor of like this is what you're gonna remember your mom. But like what are some of the things that you always gonna remember? Like some of the life lessons that she taught you. Like what would you say?
Well, I would say that she wouldn't let me cook because of my burner house, but me watching her cook was my life lesson that she showed me. And then I remember my mom telling Justin Brown that she wanted me to be as independent as humanly possible, and she taught me how to stand on 2 feet, working because I already knew my mom was gonna be around forever,
Hmm.
and that's what. But everything else, I'm just glad that my mom fought for me and my sister, make sure that we had everything.
Okay. So we got another question. Um, what was your favorite food for her to cook? Well,
Hmm.
hold on, wait a minute. She said, sorry, I misread it. What was
Okay.
your favorite food to watch her cook? Sorry.
Let's see. My mother used to make her chicken dressing.
Mm. So would you help her cook it, or you just sit there
I,
right there?
normally I would help her, but she'd be her way. But I remember watching her make her chicken dressing. I remember my mom making oxtails with potatoes, some collards with ham hock meat,
Dang,
and in fact,
she was your mom was throwing down up in the kitchen, huh?
yeah, pretty much. And in fact, she loves to watch people eat real good.
Say, I'm
I mean,
a I'm a lover of some oxtails though. So
well,
anybody out there want to make me a plate of some oxtails if you know how to cook? No.
here's the thing. Here's the thing,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I'm gonna text it to you.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though, everyone. Hey, Brandon, everyone. Here's the thing. Is
Sure.
everything right?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I got you.
Right. Uh,
What were you finna say?
all right. Okay. Everyone, here's the deal. One of these days, I'm going to cook. Well, my mom used to cook, and that's oxtails and potatoes with some collards and mac and cheese and zucchini yams and hot water cornbread. And when I do, I'd like for you guys to come over to my house for my mother's cooking, because it'll be a home cooked meal from the late Angela Marie Bursey to me, Brashard Ramon Bursey.
The big man burst. You gotta put that name plug in there.
Right, big man, Bishop, big man Bursey. I mean, one of these days we always come over to my house, and then what I do, one of these days I'll cook some oxtails and potatoes with some collards and ham hock meat and some mac and cheese and some hot water cornbread and candy yams. And one of these, and next thing you know, you'll get food from the spirit of the late Angela Marie Bursey to me, for Chef Brashard, big man Bursey.
Mm. Yeah, I'm
So
love love us some oxtail. So anybody want to make me a plate of oxtail, I sure
I
appreciate
will.
it. Yeah,
We'll go to the market by Buckner Station. I will buy those oxtails. I'll make them.
get your behind whooped over there.
Sorry.
Oh, you guys was clearing my throat.
Right.
Um,
Like I said, Brandon. I'd like for you guys to come over to my house. I'd like for you guys to come over to my house for dinner, for some oxtails, because that way you'll get a taste of what my mother used to cook. You know.
hmm So let me see. What is a good question to ask you?
So,
Like, what would you say is your fondest memory of your mom that stands out? Like you remember like it was yesterday what you and your mom was doing. Like what would you say is your fondest memory of your mom or how you want her to be remembered? Like what would you say?
well, if my mother were alive, I would tell her what a great job you did in raising me alone. I appreciate the fact that she fought to make sure that I get better education like everybody else, and I just appreciate the fact that she's the one who had put up with me throughout my 3 decades, plus 2 years before she died, and everything else, you know.
hmm
And that's what song. She asked me what song represents my mom, huh? Let's see.
I know you got some good ones. I know you said your mom to listen about three different eras of music, 70s, 80s,
Era
and 90s. So
1970s to 1980s and the 1990s. Right.
yeah, like what would you say is the one song that you think will represent your mom? Like now, I don't know if it has to be if it
Of
could be
calling out by New
or
Edition.
just songs. Hmm.
Calling out by New Edition.
Why? Why that song?
As that your as that reminder as that reminder of actually I do not know why but I do know for a fact but I do know for that it was her favorite song and the other was let's see.
Take your time. Take your time. No rush, man. No rush.
Right.
Rush. Like so. What I mean, like the song, probably like a song meaning like that represents your mom to where you know like this is the song that she would really love listening to. Like what would you say that song would be?
I said OJ's two favorites two songs by the OJ's. One Backstabbers, the other Love Train. And
Mm,
the
okay.
main reason because the main reason is reminds her of the fact that she used to watch Soul Train in the 1970s.
So OJ's Backstabber. Dang.
Backstabber and Love Train.
I got
The
that as a ringtone actually. So I know some backstabbers. Yeah, I know some backstabbers. I know some backstabbers.
It
But I just
does OJ song Brandon. I mean, you really wouldn't believe my mom you used to listen to 1970s music.
hey man, that some people still sample some songs from the '70s. You wouldn't believe it. So trust me, it's every generation, every era has different introductions that leads to another. So
Well,
I mean,
right, I said 70s music with 70s music was way before you and I were born.
yeah, way before we were born, way before he was even thought of. So
Yeah,
that's some. I mean, '70 music don't. I mean, depending on the genre of '70 music. I mean, it's that's always the key thing. So, I mean. with those two songs, that was pretty good. Love Train and Backstabbers by the OJ's. I don't think you can really out top that song. But I mean,
Yeah,
people got different songs from different eras that they like. So I mean, that might not be the only song that somebody else that we may come across that loves 70 music that wants that to represent them. So
right. And
it's
and and,
always
and Brenda, if you're listening, I've been wanting to if you're listening, I'd like to meet you one day so I could tell you what my brother's life in 1970s was like. Before I was even thought of, and before all this happened.
hopefully she is. Hopefully she's still there. I'm pretty sure she probably gonna send another question. But
We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
yeah,
But
we don't know yet. But
but do know that but do know that when
hope you know what you're grabbing out that store.
all right,
Oh yeah, okay. She says she's here. So,
all right,
but
but one of these days, let's see, when my mom's birthday comes, it would have been her 54th birthday. I want to do something. I want to do something like, let's see, I want Mariano's. I want Mariano's this May.
hmm,
Because remember, my aunt Dan Irvin took my mom to Mariano's, and she used to eat those tortilla chips with the smoky salsa. She loved it. She loved it for real.
so is that so? Would that be the go-to? Would that be like a every year thing to remember your mom by going to that spot?
Well, it should be every May it should be every May from now on.
Not bad, man.
So which is why I plan on taking off for my mother's late mother's birthday to go to Mariano's. To celebrate her life.
Hey, man, that ain't nothing wrong with that, man. That's if that's the way that you want your mom to be remembered. Hey, I salute you.
Thanks, Brandon, and thanks, Brenda. But if you want Brenda and Brandon, you can please help me celebrate my mother's life. If it's right with you guys.
Ain't no problem with me, man. Ain't no problem with me. So I think
Hello, hello, Brandon.
difficulties over here.
That's all right.
I had a little technical difficulties. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, back on the air.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back on the air. Okay. Um. So I guess Bashar, like, how how would you describe yourself? Going through this and going through the stages of losing your loved one. And if there's some people out there that are probably going to watch this
Mm.
whenever we end this, what kind of encouragement would you send to them and let them know like there's it's not going to get it's not going to get crazy overnight. with the emotions, but over time, you'll do your best to um, get through.
Well, let's see. As a mentor for those who recently lost their loved ones, I would help them best I can.
Okay.
I would really help them the best I can. Plus, I would give them advice. I would give them guidance to, you know, make sure and to do not do anything that you should might regret. So I would say I would agree. I would say help him get through whatever. I would
Okay.
help him. I would help him or her get through whatever.
Okay. Okay. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's pretty good. So I guess we'll end this on a good note. We had a good progression.
All right.
So I think on the next topic, maybe I'm not sure what I want to talk about. But to the viewers that's watching, you can comment or send me a message about what topics that you want to get discussed, or feel free to join this to just talk about it for 40 minutes, or depending on how many people we have on here. I want everybody to really just talk about their experiences through any topics that we may have to discuss. So I hope everybody having a blessed night. Stay
All right.
safe. Bashard, I thank you for joining.
Anytime, Brandon.
Mr. Brown.
Anytime, Brandon. But do not but I do know that I'll be joining your podcast every middle of the week or whenever. If I be in school every 2 days a week,
Hey,
but
all right, man. We'll figure out as it goes. So I always got to make sure you good first. So
got it,
don't worry, man. Don't worry. I got you, man. So,
got it.
but I guess we're gonna end this on a good note.
All right.
Rashard, I will
See you
see
next
you
Friday.
Saturday,
All right. See you
and
then.
get you some rest, bro.
I will.
All right.
All right.
See you,
Bye,
man.
everyone.